movie watch list for the week of 17 January 2023. So today is Tuesday, 17 January 17, 2023. This is Seattle Times. We got this headline: flu wave may be easing in state, COVID on rise. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, you know what? I still haven't had Christmas 2022 with my grandma Connie because she had COVID-19 over the holidays twice. And we're getting together. We're going to have pork carnitas Thursday night, and then she's going to leave Friday morning or midday, do maybe like waffles or pancakes in the morning or something. And so it's like, maybe I should not go to the library yet, because the library, it's different than a grocery store. Like, people take stuff and then return it, and I don't think they're wiping down the stuff anymore, at least, that are returned. So maybe I'll go into my movie bins and choose DVDs that I have. So I've seen have I seen all 4 of these? I've seen 3 of these before. But have all of them. And so this choice is actually, because COVID-19 is on the rise. So this is the Seattle Times, the Seattle area. In a COVID-19 pandemic chronology video earlier this month, before today being 17 January 2023, I mentioned that my grandma Rosemary's senior home had restricted visitation access and were requiring the fancy masks again. So this is kind of an escalation from just her senior home. So now I have news that it's on the rise more broadly. So it's like, all right, we'll just play it safe for this movie watch list this Tuesday. So, safe as in where I'm getting the DVDs from. So the first is absolutely hilarious. One of my favorite movies of all time. Possibly, but not, I'm not saying it is, but possibly my favorite comedy of all time is The Birdcage. So this is 1996, and it stars, and we're going to do some first name alphabetical order. So, alphabetical by first name. Diane West, Gene Hackman, Nathan Lane, and Robin Williams. And so Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are homosexuals who own a club, but like a performance club, not a strip club or anything, on Miami. I think it's somewhere in Florida. I think it's Miami. So I guess it'd be, and it's at night, so a nightclub. And their son falls in love with Gene Hackman and Diane West, their character's daughter. And so they need to meet each other because they're going to get married. And these two, so the Gene Hackman and Diane West characters, are like really staunch, like conservative Republicans, or American Republicans. So like this, and these guys are homosexuals living in Florida with a nightclub in like Miami or something. And so there's a little bit of it's a culture clash. This is like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Repeatedly funny, and it's funny all the way through. It's so hard to execute, or in the movies I've seen, it's hard for movies to stay funny all the way through, and this one does that. And I think partially I like this because I have some very strong, growing up in my family, there's some very strong Republicans in the family, there's some very strong Democrats in the family. So this always, and my aunt is a lesbian and I am asexual. So this was just kind of like, possibly part of why I found it so funny was just like, it resonated with my life a bit. But I absolutely love this. As to whether I'd recommend or not, if one is triggered easily by politics, maybe keep in mind that this is about overcoming political barriers. But if one's easily triggered, just keep in mind it's about working through things, so it can be triggering for some people. I was not triggered whatsoever by this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, up next is Braveheart with Mel Gibson, 1995. I'll look these up and put the movie name and year in the video description. I may or may not have seen this. I don't think I have. Shame on me. I know. Okay. And I'm even Scottish, so old Scottish, I'm descended from the Picts, which is like, yeah. Really, really old Scotland. Like in a certain region of Scotland, and the Scotland Highlands, yeah. So I've heard this is like, yeah. And point being, it's time. It's like one that I think that I've watched, but I'm not actually certain. So, yeah. Up next, starring James Franco and Tyrese Gibson, is Annapolis. Year. Does it say the year on here? 2006 DVD release. So maybe like 2005. Why? Because as part of my pandemic pit crew writing and publishing work, I made a Wikipedia article for Thomas Heilman. And Thomas Heilman, there's a scene in this movie where James Franco is about to fight, I think it's Tyrese Gibson, and they had to do a weigh-in because boxing is like by weigh-in, so he has to see if he makes weight, I think it was. And so he strips his shirt off and his abs are just like bam. And the first picture I saw of Thomas Heilman, who is a pool swimmer, American pool swimmer, so it's swimming, so there's pictures with, half-naked men everywhere. The first picture I saw that had Thomas Heilman's abs on full display, like, my mind just went, oh my gosh, it's that scene in Annapolis where James Franco is like, with his abs and gets on the scale. Is that the reason I made his page? Little things like that actually do factor into whether I make a person's Wikipedia article or not. There's at least one like little quirk that's like, even if this page gets vandalized a lot, I have this like enjoyment value of, I could go back and watch Annapolis. And so since the Thomas Heilman Wikipedia page has been vandalized, it's time to go back and get my little enjoyment moment from Annapolis. All right. Oh, and this is about, he joins the Navy. Or, no, he's trying to join the Navy. He goes to school. He goes to Annapolis. Okay. It's been a while. No, I've actually watched this since I moved home in 2019, in October 2019. Yeah. Okay, and then up last, Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie. I do have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I have collected. I'm approximately 30 years old, and I continue to collect Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Yeah, I watched it. I watched the TV show. I watched the movie when they came out, and so I'm going back. I even bought this Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie on DVD. Yeah, at the time. Don't ask me where. Maybe I'll remember, but right now I cannot recall. But I actually did buy this. 2004? 1996 was a package design and supplementary material compilation. I think it came out later, though. So that might be like Yu-Gi-Oh! Was copyrighted in 1999 and the movie in 2004. I'll look it up. But this is fabulous. I absolutely love Yu-Gi-Oh! If there's like one trading card game, so that would be like Pokemon. I think, did Digimon have cards? Yu-Gi-Oh! Wins, by the way. This is my favorite trading card game and like of the set. Trading card game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Favorite trading card game. And it came with, the series is like literally about how to use the cards. It's really cool. It's amazing. Like this board he actually puts the cards on the board, and so like when you play Yu-Gi-Oh! You can have your own little arm thing and play, because it's actually played how it is in the TV show and this movie, which is different than Pokemon, because in Pokemon they have like Pokemon balls. No, this is like you can actually do what they do in the movie and the TV show. So full-on Yu-Gi-Oh! Nerd here, so I'm going nerd mode this week. I am using my old MacBook Pro that still has a DVD, CD drive, turning Wi-Fi off and lounging and watching these movies. So, happy week of watching. 17 January 2023.